All right, buckle up, gamers, because today we're diving deep into a story that's got it all. A meteoric rise, a dramatic fall, and a whole lot of digital drama.
Sounds juicy. I'm ready when you are.
We're talking about Molio, a company that, for a hot minute, was the king of the hill in the Chinese gaming world. But then, well, things took a turn. And to tell this story right, we've got our hands on a mountain of Intel court docs, gaming news, even some old-school forum rants.
Those forum rants gotta love the passion of gamers, right?
Oh yeah, they definitely let their feelings be known. But before we get to the juicy downfall, let's rewind to the good old days. Early 2000s, China's gaming scene is on fire, and a little game called Cabal Online explodes onto the scene.
Now, this wasn't just any game. Cabal Online, a Korean-made masterpiece, was dropping jaws with its cutting-edge 3D graphics. It was like nothing anyone had ever seen before.
And get this, in 2006, they hit a mind-blowing 300,000 players online at the same time. Back then, that was like unheard of.
It was massive, a global phenomenon. And China, well, they went wild for Cabal.
And that's where Moliyo swooped in. They managed to snag the rights to operate Cabal in China, and boom, overnight, they went from zero to hero.
Talk about being in the right place at the right time. They were sitting on a gold mine.
So we've got Cabal Online, a game changer, and Molio, riding high on its success. But as we know, what goes up must come down. What were the first cracks in Molio's armor? Where did it all start to unravel? Well, you see, Molio, they kind of shot themselves in the foot. Remember how we talked about those drop rates? Yeah, the chances of finding those crazy rare items in Cabal.
Oh, yeah, those were the pride and joy for any serious Cabal player.
Exactly. But Molio, they decided to, well, mess with those drop rates.
And that's where things get spicy. You gotta understand, for a lot of gamers, those virtual items, they're more than just pixels. They're like trophies, badges of honor.
Right, you poured your blood, sweat, and tears into getting them.
Exactly. And when Molio started fiddling with those drop rates, it felt like they were cheating players out of their hard-earned rewards.
Like, hey, I spent hours grinding for this. What gives?
You better believe the players were furious. The forums were blowing up with complaints, accusations, all sorts of digital yelling. It was wild.
Talk about a PR nightmare in the making. But wait, there's more. Molio, they then decided to start selling those super rare items directly to players.
Oh man, they did not. That's like pouring salt on the wound. Players are grinding for hours trying to get their hands on these items, and suddenly, anyone with a credit card can just buy them.
I know, right? Talk about a slap in the face to their loyal players.
Yeah.
And if that wasn't bad enough, there were all these bugs in the game, glitches, errors, you name it. And Molio, they just ignored them.
Ignoring those bugs, it's like ignoring a ticking time bomb. The frustration was building, and it was only a matter of time before something big happened.
And boy, did it ever. Because the next chapter in this saga is where things get really interesting. We're talking about mass account bans, like on a scale you wouldn't believe.
Wait, seriously, how many players got banned?
Hold on to your hats, because we're talking about 120,000 players gone, just like that.
No way, 120,000. That's insane. What was Moliyo thinking?
It gets worse.
Hmm.
They didn't even give a clear explanation. Players just logged in one day to find their accounts gone. Poof.
Oh man, the outrage. Imagine the rage those players must have felt. Talk about adding insult to injury.
It was a recipe for disaster. And the main ingredient was a whole lot of angry gamers. Remember how we talked about them being passionate? Well, they were about to show Molio just how passionate they could get. Okay, so picture this. It's March 2007. Cabal Online players are fuming. The forums are a war zone. And then, well, they take it offline.
Offline and into the real world. This is where the legend of the real-life dungeon raid is born.
Oh yeah, buckle up for this one. These gamers, they weren't messing around. They organized an actual in-person march on Molio's offices.
It was unprecedented. Players were so angry, so fed up with being ignored, that they decided to take matters into their own hands.
Can you imagine the scene? A horde of angry gamers descending on Molio's HQ. Talk about a PR nightmare.
This was a defining moment in Chinese gaming history. It showed just how powerful a passionate community could be, and how badly Molio had messed up.
You think after all this, Molio might try to, smooth things over?
Nope. Instead, they double down on a gamble so bad it makes you wonder, what were they thinking?
Oh, this is where Cabal 2 comes in, right?
Cabal 2, the sequel that wasn't really a sequel. They basically took a completely different game, slapped the Cabal name on it, and hoped for the best.
Bold strategy. Let's see if it pays off for them. Except, remember EST Soft, the original Korean developers of Cabal? They weren't too thrilled about this whole Cabal 2 situation.
To put it mildly, they took Moliyo to court for copyright infringement. And let me tell you, those court documents are a wild ride.
So what happened? Did Moliyo manage to escape this mess?
Short answer, no. The court hit them with a hefty fine, almost $500,000. But the real kicker, they were ordered to shut down the Cabal servers. Game over.
Wow. From heroes to zero. What a story. It just goes to show, in the world of online gaming, trust and community aren't just buzzwords. They're everything.
Moliyo learned that the hard way. They ignored their players, made some questionable decisions, and ultimately paid the price. It's a cautionary tale for any company operating in the digital age.
Absolutely. So as we wrap up this wild ride through the rise and fall of Moliyo, one question remains. What's the takeaway for gamers and game developers alike? How do we build online communities that are both profitable and sustainable, that value both innovation and player experience? Those are the questions we'll be exploring in future deep dives. But for now, that's a wrap. Until next time, keep gaming, keep questioning, and stay tuned for more deep dives into the ever-evolving world of gaming.